With no apologies, this one's a little bit angrier than normal, because One Nation is to democracy what untreated chlamydia is to your bikini body. Why exactly do I, and so many other learned individuals, see this joke for quite unfunny? One Nation have been described as ultra-nationalist, which is unusual given that their values, core beliefs, and all policy decisions are based on treading on the rights and well-being of our nation's first people. One Nation are also staunchly anti-immigration because writing real policy is difficult. Claiming that One Nation are racist is like claiming that Donald Trump is a bit of a nonce. They just kind of admit it themselves.
Again, walking into the chamber in a burqa calling for a ban.
We have a disease. We vaccinate ourselves against it. Islam is a disease.
Interesting, that statement there from a woman who claims to be pro-choice to vaccination and who refuses to mandate the life-saving treatment and who called no jab, no play dictatory as a policy. It's again ironic given that she looks up to Donald Trump with his actual dictatorial policies. The party is recently joined by Barnaby Joyce. The reason for the federal parliament bonk ban, because he did have sexual relations with that woman. This is like seeing a sinking ship and blowing another hole, no pun intended. With Barney out of the way, let's have a look at some of the other country-loving stains on One Nation's wet rag. Tyrone Whittens would move heaven and earth for his constituents. Easy enough to do when you own a private earthworks business focusing on defence and construction. Sean Bell, Senator for New South Wales. He has said that his main policy points all revolve around ending mass migration and ending net zero. Because historically Australia has been so pro-migration and always been staunchly opposed to a policy which would say lock up migrants in an offshore detention centre where people die. Not to mention how our swift and thorough transition to renewable energy has stymied the business interests of coal and gas. Queensland's own Malcolm Roberts is your granddad's favourite granddad. A staple of this conglomerate of cockwombles, Malintent here has voted to do such things as remove the Racial Discrimination Act, which makes it illegal to, quote, publicly offend, insult, humiliate or intimidate someone due to their race. He wants to make that fine again. His reasons for this were, as any good garden, grown in shit. He said that Julia Gillard implemented the bill just to do what snipers have failed to do for years and target Andrew Bolt. Conservative commentator and man who once defended Cardinal George Pell of pedo fame, and who would also go on to publicly humiliate a 15-year-old abuse victim. Maybe his Sky News contract was up and he had to prove he still belonged there, I don't know. And the unpopped cherry on Mal's cake is that despite struggling to find meaning in a fucking dictionary, he peddles conspiracy theories like Tour de France cyclists peddle drugs. And of course, fashion icon Pauline Hanson herself. Proof that not every export from Ipswich is a positive one. Former Prime Minister and all-round bloody legend Paul Keating called Hanson the face of racism, which is a pretty big achievement considering that title used to go to some mustachioed fellow. Pauline is famous for the hit song Don't Like It, as well as being Parliament's biggest pick-me-girl to ever peacock about in a burqa. To use Pauline's own logic against her here, I might just start a campaign against all ginger people, because this one's a giant Do you feel like everything's gone to shit? Do you want to make the world better? Do you want to join a religion but can't quite commit? Come to the Adelaide Fringe and witness the birth of Australia's newest, best cult. Wow. Join the Bogan Cult of Kindness, the Bloke Agenda, for just $20 Australian and change your life. One Nation are currently polling above the Coalition, who are clearly named after their favourite mineral and not any idea of unity. This is due, I will add, less to the success of One Nation and more to the fact that no fan within 800k of Sus and Lay can be unhit by shit. So now that we've spoken about who they are, what does our incumbent opposition party actually stand for? That they are staunchly anti-abortion, which is a damn shame because that could have solved this whole problem a long time ago. The housing policy of One Nation is flawed because they blame the housing crisis on immigrants instead of John Howard. And it would be very helpful for One Nation if this were true, but it's fucking not. Independent economist Saul Estlake has said that the broader One Nation platform doesn't have, quote, anything approaching a coherent economic policy. Immigration doesn't lead straight to the housing crisis. It's fucking complicated. Watch the other video. Speaking of the cost of living, it's going to be much more difficult to live when all that pesky environment's out of the way, because Pauline and co want to blame your rising energy costs on the transition to renewable energies. Oh, I'm sorry, Pauline. I didn't realise you lived in fucking Narnia. But here in the real world, all the top economists all agree that renewables are the cheapest current source of producing power. Because they fucking are. Pauline is also critical of state-run education because she blames the teachers for, quote, Western white gender guilt-shaming classrooms. Basically, all these woke bloody teachers are teaching students to think critically, and that's not very good for One Nation's voter base. Given that Pauline went to a private, independent, all-girls school and then later transitioned into a state school, I'm going to say that both sides have failed. And following Trump not just in colour-based choices, literally and metaphorically, Pauline also wants to put tariffs on Australia's largest trading partners of undisclosed amounts to help Australian manufacturing, because that's worked out so well in the States. It's almost like, hear me out, racists aren't that smart. Speaking of following Trumpenstein, remember those crimes I mentioned? In 2025, the party hired convicted rapist Sean Black to be their campaign manager. No wonder their ads kept getting me when I didn't want them to. In the same year, One Nation candidate Adrian Shit-for-Teeth Deeth ran for the party despite being charged with 15 counts of breaking his domestic family violence order, and that's not to mention the many undisclosed donations or allegedly bribes, allegedly, mostly from gun lobbyists. One Nation for years now have been seeking to weaken Australia's fantastic gun control laws. Even after the Bondi massacre, in which those slightly weakened gun laws allowed someone to kill 15 people. Because Pauline's never been great at reading the room, and the rest of them couldn't care if you live or die as long as they get the attention and paid. It would be easy for me to sit here and call these people the petulant, fear-mongering shit monkeys that they are. And I could do that because Malcolm Roberts won't understand the word petulant. However, I don't want to take the easy path like these fuck-eyed pack of pains in the arse. Instead, I'm going to sit here and call for all of us to be better than this collection of Indiana Jones villain wannabes. Australia deserves so much more than One Nation can give us. And remember, if you go into the next election and they are the opposition candidate and you're unsure about them, just remember their own words. If you don't know, vote no.